Hi, how are you? I have not done a live on YouTube before, so I thought this would be a good time to dive right in and introduce myself to my YouTube family. For those of you who are new to my channel, I have been blogging since 2013, so quite a while, and I share all things health and wellness, spirituality, really just kind of everything you need to live your best life. So that's kind of the premise. I do share a lot of family, parenting tips. You know, I've been married for 20 years. I have 3 beautiful children who are now like teenagers. So I feel like I have a little bit of experience that I can share with you. And so that brings me to today's topic. Today I'll be talking about 10 things that you can do to promote more peace, harmony, and joy within the walls of your very own home. We have traveled quite a bit, or not traveled, yes, we've traveled a lot, but we've moved a lot. So over the last 10 years, we've lived in 3 states, and we really have been all over the place. And so one of the biggest compliments that I get from people when they meet us and meet my family is that we just really seem like a chill family, that it's your kids don't fight, everyone seems to get along, like you always seem so happy together. And for me, that is one of the biggest compliments that I can have as a parent, is that I have this home that is a peaceful place and that feels safe and feels inviting. So I thought I would kind of share with you today some of my tips on how I accomplish just that within my home. So I have my notes here from a blog post I just posted. I'll link it in the comments below. Okay, so the number one thing is, you have to get this, is you've got to believe your kids are good. I got this bit of advice when I was a young newlywed, and this is actually legit advice from a Mother of the Year winner. And the thing that she told me, and it always just stuck with me because I just felt it to be true, is that your kids are born good. It's your job as their parent not to screw that up. And I firmly believe that. Your kids are great. They're beautiful. They're born perfect, pure humans, and it's your job to make sure that they stay that way. And they're going to learn things throughout their lives that will impress upon them, and things will change. And these are all lessons they need to learn, but they were born good. And it's your job not to screw that up. So here's what I want to get to here is that it's really easy to see the negative things and judgments on our kids. Or we'll talk to somebody and be like, oh, your kids are amazing. And then you're like, oh no, they're a pill at home, or I have a hard time with that kid. Your kids, whether they hear those words or not from you, are going to feel them. Kids are inherently intuitive and they pick up on your energy. So if you're saying bad things behind their back, or you're telling them, oh, you're a pill, you're such a stinker, what are they going to start to think about themselves? They're going to start to think, and that's their truth, that they are a stinker, they're a pill, they're a bad kid, they make bad choices. So be very careful of the words that you choose when you talk to your children and what you tell them about themselves, because you are their first line of building that identity as they come here. So very important things. Okay, and number 2, I kind of already touched on it, is when people compliment you on your children, agree with them and say thank you. That is my biggest pet peeve, is when I'm talking to someone and I'm super impressed with their kids are amazing, and I say something like that and they're like, oh, they're just good. I can't believe they behaved themselves for you. They're a stinker at home. And it just hurts my heart when I hear people talking about their kids like that. So when anyone gives you a compliment about your kids, thank them and take that in as a compliment and don't deflect, because obviously if someone else is seeing something amazing in your kid, then there's a reason. Your kids, again, are born good. So number 3, choose love. This one is really tricky. So when your kids are acting out and they're having behavioral issues, They're fighting, they're screaming, tantrums, even into the teen years. I have found over time that these times are when they need my love, with my kids, is when they need love the most. So a lot of times when they were small and I was still learning and trying to figure this parenting thing out, I would get upset too, and we would end up in a shouting match, and I would, you go to your room, and it was just this, it would become a battle. But I learned that instead of going that direction, I got curious. I sat down. If I started feeling, number one, if you start feeling your temperature rising and you're starting to lose your control, then you need to put yourself in timeout and then come back to the situation. Just gonna throw that out there. But when you see your kid having behavioral issues and there's a problem, sit with them. Ask them questions. Try to view it through I always say I'm going to put my lens of love glasses on, and I'm going to try and see this from their perspective. And I'm trying to understand why they might be having an issue. Maybe it's they're tired. Maybe there's a fight at school that's causing them. Maybe there's a test that they're anxious about. Really getting curious as to what's going on in their life so that I can be a support to them and not be another thing that's going wrong for them. So that's a big thing. Always answer with the lens of love. This works with your husband or your spouse as well. If you are getting into an argument, take a step back and start asking questions and get curious as to why they seem off. You get way more when you sit down and talk with them. And especially sometimes I'll sit down and I told my kids no on something, and I'll sit down and I'll actually talk to them about it. And sometimes I'm wrong to say no. Most of the time I trust my gut and I'm usually right, but sometimes after talking the situation out, I was wrong, and I take full responsibility when I'm wrong, and I change my mind if I need to. I always try to make the best decision and trust my intuition as to what is right for my children. Sometimes I have to ask more questions and get curious, but always with love. Okay, number 4, meditate daily. I talk a lot about a meditation on my blog and on this YouTube channel. A meditation is really just that opportunity to get quiet and let all the stress, everything that you've been holding on to, go. And it allows you to get to this clear space so that you can get information from your spirit guides, from source, from God, of how you can better serve your family and maybe some things that they might need help with as a parent. So getting into that place of meditation every day is a huge thing for me to be a better parent and to have that peace in home. And I also, when I'm meditating, I just kind of send out good energy to my house, and I give it a little blessing every day so that it has more peace, more joy, more love, more light within the walls of our home. So that's a little thing I do daily to help promote peace and love in our home. Okay, and number 5, I want you to play with your kids. Kids need you. They need you to show up for them. This doesn't need to be taking them to expensive theme parks and movies all the time. Bust out a board game. Play a board game with them. Do a puzzle. Go for a walk. Take them to the park. Your kids just need you, and they need your time. So just take that time, play with them. It's going to make a huge difference. This is one I personally struggle with, but I always remind myself that I can do better. And that is setting work boundaries. If you work outside of the home, as soon as you walk into your house, work gets shut off. Sometimes it's hard. I understand that. But as much as you can, set that boundary so that work stays at work and home is home. And your energy is home. And for me, where I work from home and my office is at my house, it's a little bit trickier to set boundaries. So I usually will do office hours. So I'm like, hey kids, I've got to work during this time, and please don't bug me. I have a door, so I close my door if I am in a situation where I can't chat right now because I'm in the middle of writing, or I'm in that flow state with writing, or I'm recording a video, those types of things. But as soon as the kids are home from school, that's their time. And I spend some time with them, and I try to make sure that every day I'm spending some time with these kids and connecting with them and asking questions about their day, what's going on in their lives, and I'm setting that healthy work-life boundary. this is an important one. It can be hard. So sometimes I'm awesome at it, and other times I'm like working on a project and it's harder for me to shut work off. But it's something I always need to come back to and pay attention to in my life. Okay, number 7. This has been a really fun one, and I implemented it a few years ago, and then the Rona happened, so it kind of got us a little off track. But now we're back to it, and I really love it. And it's a one-on-one date with each of my kids. So every day, or not every day, every month I will schedule out a one-on-one date with each of my children. So we go and we do something that they enjoy. Like my oldest daughter really loves crystals, so we'll go crystal shopping together, and she lets me learn. She knows way more than I do, so I learn from her, and she shows me which ones she thinks are going to be a great fit for me, and it's just a good time when we spend time together. And then my son, we've gone on hikes together. He really likes axe throwing, so I'll take him axe throwing, or whatever he wants to do. He loves Subway, so a lot of times that date will include Subway. So we enjoyed that time together. And then my baby, really, she loves anything, so it's always a good time with her. So anyway, so those are kind of the things that I do with each of those kids, and as long as it is taking that time and scheduling it out. That is the thing. Get it on your schedule so that it happens. If you're like me, if it doesn't get scheduled, it might not happen. So good thing to do. Okay, number 8. If you are married, love your spouse. Your kids need to see that you love each other and that you have a good connection. My kids might act like they're grossed out when my husband comes in and grabs my bum or gives me a big smooch in front of them, but they actually really love it because it shows them that we're still crazy for each other and that our relationship is secure. So it's important that you do show affection and love to one another, because the relationship that you and your spouse have is mirroring to your children what behavior is okay. So if I'm yelling at my husband all the time and belittling him and making him feel small, I'm showing to my son that his future wife that that's totally okay for her to do. No way. So and the way that my husband treats me is he's showing what's okay for my girls when they get married on how to be treated. So we are very, very clear on how we treat each other, and we're always kind and loving to each other because we want our kids to know that that is the proper way to treat a spouse. So that's important to think about. You're giving your kids kind of a roadmap of how to treat their spouse and how they should be treated. Just kind of a different way to look at it. And plus, just love your spouse. If things are rocking your relationship and they're not the way you want them to be, I've got lots of resources on my blog, lots of ways to reignite your romance and to breathe some life back into it if you've been struggling with that connection with your spouse. That's a big hot topic for me. I think it's a topic we don't discuss enough. So I'll leave that out there. Okay, number 9. Remember that your husband and your children are human. They are, just like you. And guess what? Humans make dumb mistakes, and they do dumb things. It's just part of being a human, right? So when we extend grace and forgiveness for when they make a dumb mistake or they do something dumb, it's gonna happen. When we extend grace and forgiveness to them, we're teaching them that that's how, when we make our mistakes, they'll forgive us. So don't get mad. People are going to make mistakes. Have a forgiving heart. Have a loving heart. And sometimes those mistakes will hurt us. But I think by and large, especially our children, they're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to hurt us. If anything, if it does hurt us, it shows me when your kids are fighting and are talking back to you, it shows to me that you as a parent are a safe place because they feel free to be themselves and to express anger to you. So you're safe. So just when your kids are angry and they're fighting and they're yelling at you and there's a negative energy coming at you from them, just know, first, ask questions and get curious. figure out what's really going on. But know that they're coming to you with that energy because they feel that you're safe. And it's okay to express themselves fully to you. So that is a gift. So remember that. Okay, number 10. And this is something that I would tell anybody. I actually, a lifetime ago, it feels like, I used to be a financial planner. So I would meet with people and I'd go over their finances with them. So I'm just going to throw this out there because I believe in this fully. Get your affairs in order. Make sure that there is a plan. Make sure you have a living will. Make sure that everything is aligned, and you have good health insurance. Not good health insurance. Good life insurance. There you go. There it is. So that in the event that something does happen to you and your family is disrupted, that there is a level of peace and calm, that all the technical stuff is taken care of, because they're going to be going through enough if something happens to you. So make sure that you have that plan in place. And those are my top 10 ways to promote peace, love, joy, harmony within the walls of your home. It's something that is near and dear to my heart and something I feel very passionate about. If you have any questions, let me know below. Give this video a like and please subscribe. I love seeing this little channel grow, and let me know if you watch this in a replay, if you want me to do more lives, any other questions that you'd like me to answer. I'm so grateful to be growing this little channel. So thank you. And have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.